Hey guys, Tim here, Big Dog Forge. Welcome back to the shop. So in our last video we built one of these and we used our 3D scanner to help us do that. Well, we need to do some more of that kind of thing, but I have to reach into the frame and rotate the little turntable every time I do that. I want something a little more automated. So I went through the shop, kind of rounded up some new parts and some old used parts, and we're going to build a turntable today. It'll be Arduino based, which will be interesting. We'll see how that works out. We're going to need it to carry a little bit of weight as well. So about 25, 30 pounds maybe max. All right guys, let's jump into it. We'll see you at the other end. Stick with me, should be fun. Okay guys, here we go. We got a little pile of junk here we're going to use to build our push button turntable. We got a little stepper motor there, but I think we're going to use this big one. It looks like it's spent some time in a bucket with some water, but it spins okay. And we've got ourselves, let's see, an Arduino power supply, a controller for the stepper motor, and a cigar box as a job box, and an old Lazy Susan. And we're just going to cut a hole in the cigar box to house our power supply so the fan can stick out, draw some air through it, keep everything nice and cool. There we go. And first we need to get rid of the carving that's on top of this box. So anything that reflects light or any contour or texture that's in the scan will be picked up by the scanner. So the less information you give it, the better. So we're going to put a little veneer on this thing to get rid of some of this background noise. We'll sand this off. We'll paint this entire project flat black, except for the top of the turntable. It'll be a little different. We'll explain that in a minute. There we go. So it's just a piece of an old Lazy Susan. It's set on a counter at work for years and years. It held a box full of will call PO type things, and they were throwing it away, so I brought it home. Alright, drill a hole in the middle. Got our motor. So the motor's just going to sit in the middle of this round, and it'll be supported by the Lazy Susan. So this power supply, we only need a couple of wires coming out of it. We need a ground, we need a 5 volt, and we need 12 volt. And these things are capable of 3 volts, 5 volts, and 12 volts. So we need 5 volts to run our Arduino, and 12 volts to run our controller for our stepper motor. So we just removed all the excess wires to clean it up. Now there's a green wire there that hooks to the ground, and that's the on-off switch for this power supply. And it's a little more complicated than that, but we're going to call it an on-off switch. Alright, a couple of brackets to hold this thing in place, and that'll leave us plenty of room for everything else we need to put in this box. A couple of little brass brackets, and we painted it flat black off camera. There we go. And our controller will sit right in the middle there. So the fan that's in the power supply will move enough air through this box to keep everything nice and cool. And we've got an old printer cable here we'll use to not only power the Arduino from the power supply, but when we need to program it, we can unplug that and plug it in to the USB on our computer. Alrighty, you get this thing wired up. You drill a couple of holes for some switches. We'll have an on-off switch and a push it to make it go around in circle switch. There you go, that's the on-off, and that's push the button and it will go whatever degree we set it to every time we push the button. Alright, this is our turntable, and we painted the top of it white. We do want it to show up because it's going to help index our scans. So later you'll see that I put some other large shapes on that wheel, but what'll happen is when the computer is trying to line the scans up that we make, it'll use these numbers to identify which direction it needs to be in. We're going to put some stands on our turntable. Keep knocking them down there. And then we will screw this to our base board. And this turntable, this Lazy Susan, will help support the weight because we will be putting more weight on it than just a few ounces. We'll be doing larger things in the future. And I need this thing to hold about 30 pounds or so. And we'll test it out. All right. We're going to get our motor wired up to our controller. And then we'll write a little sketch for this thing in the Arduino software. We just anchor this down with a couple of screws. And this is pretty simple. It's simply 4 wires. You've got 2 coils in the stepper motor, and they go on positive, negative. And I'm not going to make you sit through this entire sketch as I'm writing this thing, but basically we're identifying which pins on the Arduino are going to be our step pin, our direction pin, which is going to be our enable pin, and which pins are going to take the input and output for the push button. And that's pretty much it. And then what we'll do is we'll give it a parameter of how many steps to take when you push the push button, and we'll break a 360-degree circle up into 8 parts. And that will be our parameter for that. And we'll give it about 500 milliseconds between steps so it doesn't move too fast. If that makes any sense to you, then there you go. But this is the basic sketch. If any of you are interested in that Arduino sketch, just drop me a note, let me know, and I'll post it somewhere. There we go. We uploaded our little sketch. Every time you push the button, it turns to the next number. And we're going to put this little, it's about a 32-pound little swedge block on top of this thing, and it seems to work just fine. Nothing's heating up. All right. So here we go. It's in action here in front of the scanner. You're going to notice the big black circle, and on the opposite side there's a triangle. This was to further assist the computer in alignment for the scans. Not a super technical machine, but a necessary one. All right, guys, there you go. So we got a push-button turntable that should stabilize our scans for us pretty well and give us an equal scan all the way around. So that'll help us move forward with the next project we've got coming up. We're going to be doing a special knife for someone. And anyway, so there you go. If you liked what you saw, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, maybe think about that. So appreciate it, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for checking it out here at Big Doug Forge. We'll talk to you next time. See you later. Take care and be safe. Bye-bye now.